Hi, welcome to the second semester. I'm very happy to meet you in person, but due to the prevailing situation, you all know that due to the strike of the non-academic employees of the University of Vietnam, we are unable to conduct the lectures on physical mode, so that's why we are here in the uh, online mode. And welcome to the second semester. Today subject is marketing information system, and this is VBAM 32043. The, so then today the first section we can discuss about the marketing managing informations in the contemporary marketing environment. So you all know that information is the key for the success of any marketing activity, especially the information is needed for the decision making, and that's why it's a marketing information system. We will discuss about what is marketing information system and how the marketing managers can use this information to manage their marketing activities effectively. So that's why we can move towards the essentials of marketing information. So essentials of marketing information. That means why. So what is the necessity of having information? So effective marketing information that is important for making data-driven decisions. So you all know that marketing managers normally involved in the decision-making process. And for the decision, they should have information. So if they have information only, they can take effective decisions. So that's why if they want to take effective decision, definitely they need information. So then with that, we will discuss about what other components like the data management. So what is the data management, how they can manage the data, how they can get the data, and from the data, how they can use the data to the decision making. So then how they are collecting the data, how they are storing the data, how they are securely keeping the data. That means the data security and how they can connect the data, integrations, the different discipline areas of the marketing. And these are the things that now we will discuss deeply to get more understanding about these things. So then uh, now we are moving on to the next slides and we can get more idea about that. So then the data collection. So then the data collection involves so the gathering information from various sources to understand customer behaviors, market trends, and business performance. These are some examples. You all know that why they are collecting the data, especially to understand the customers, right? So then market trends and business performance, competitive activities, market dynamics, market environments like that. In the different areas in marketing, they are collecting the data and then they can use the data for the future purpose. So, so that's the purpose of collecting the data. And so how they are collecting the data. So very interesting. You all know that marketing organizations normally involving collecting data using the different sources and methods also there. So one is the customer feedback. So that is very important and they can collect as well. So because they are dealing with customers directly in that situations, they can get the feedback from the customer as well. So the direct responses, so the direct answers from the customers through surveys, reviews, feedback forms, and focus group interviews. So then they can get the feedback. So you will customers to some uh, uh, marketers. So then sometimes you provide your the perceptions or the responses when they are asking about your feedback related to their business. So that's why you all know that this is one of the popular methods available around in the business, right? Using the customer feedback. So the direct responses from customers to the surveys, the reviews, feedback forms, and focus groups, right? So customer feedback is another important one. Another one is the social media. So nowadays, you all know that uh, this social media plays major roles, right? So everyone using this different social medias. And not only that, social medias people are using to socialize with the people through these digital platforms. At the same time, marketers also connect with the people through the social media. And the customers also uh, express their ideas, opinions, or interests, and other comments in the social media. Then they can consider this as a kind of a data collection method to collect the data, because inside from social media platforms where customers share opinions, preferences, and trends, so the marketers simply can understand what is the customers preferences, right? And their ideas. These are so voluntary. That means customers themselves express their or share their ideas, right? And another one is the market survey. So market survey is a kind of a research. You all know that it's structured questionnaires targeting a specific segment. So then segmentation, you all know that the specific group of customers are having a similar needs and wants, then they are targeting that customer groups, and then they develop the questions in a structured way and gather the information by issuing that questionnaire to ask the customers to fill it. And through that, they can get the preferences, needs, buying habits. These are the things they can collect using the market surveys. And another one is also sales records. Sales records means normally we will consider this as a kind of a internal records of the organization. So then historical sales data showing what products or services are performing well, seasonal events and customer purchasing history. These are things normally during the transaction, during the sales. Every actions are recorded. Now, you see, even small organizations also nowadays, uh, during the transaction, they are recording their transaction. Even small convenience stores or supermarkets, when you are purchasing at the counter, you are paying the uh, your purchase items, and they are recording these things. These records are recorded in the internal data. So then as we discussed, uh, the data collection is important component, right? So that the purpose is to gather the information relevant to companies' marketing activities. So then the process involves systematically collecting data from various sources, right? So then there are various sources available. So then systematically they are collecting to provide insights. The insight means to understand that I can inform the marketing decisions and strategies. So the first, as we discuss the data collection, identify the information, what type of information they needs, right? So the first step, data collection is identifying the specific information needs of the marketing department or organization as a whole, because simply they don't collect the data. based on the information needs only, they try to collect the appropriate data. This involves deciding what data is required to address the key marketing questions like understanding customer preferences or assessing the market trends or evaluating the effectiveness of marketing campaigns, right? So then first they try to identify the information needs. So then as now we are discussing about the sources. So they once the information is identified, the next step is selecting appropriate data sources. These sources can include both internal and external data. Internal sources may include the sales records, customer databases, and marketing campaign performance data. So like that. So the external sources may consist of market research reports, industry publications, government databases, and social media analytics. So then the data collection methods, right? So then the data collection method, as we discussed the steps, right? So the sources, they can use it. So data can be collected through the various methods as mentioned here, and depending on the nature of information needed. That is very important. So they don't just collect the information, nature of the information needed. Based on that only they can collect, they can find, or they can get the suitable resources. So common data collection methods, as mentioned here, surveys, interviews, observations also there, focus groups, experiments, and analyzing secondary data. So then each method has its advantages and limitations, but it depends on the data requirements. So then they can select the appropriate data. Depends on the factors such as the research objectives, target audience, and budget concerns. Then for the data collection, sometimes they want to spend the money. That's why budget also another concern when they try to collect the data. And then they process the data, right? Process the data means they are getting the raw data, then they want to do some process to screen the data and analyze. They involve cleaning and organizing the data to ensure accuracy and consistency. Data cleaning means sometimes some data is not appropriate, sometimes not um, relevant, or so then they have to clean it. So then data analysis techniques, then we all know that statistical analysis, data mining, and qualitative coding may be employed to uncover pattern, trends, and the relationship within the data. So then next slide, so we can give a data storage. Once the data collected, and then they try to store the data. Once the data is collected, it needs to be stored in organized manner for easy retrieval and analysis. So that's why nowadays it is with the help of computer, simply they can keep the data in their storage. So the databases. So the databases system designed to store structured data. So then they are efficient for querying and managing data, and the data warehouses also there. So that means warehouses in the sense centralized repositories means one organization can keep the data in the central locations in their system. So then we can call it as a centralized repositories means kind of a storage. Then they from that storage they can retrieve the data that store data from multiple sources, optimized for querying and analysis, right? So then we will discuss about how they can use these multiple sources. They can gather the data from the multiple sources, but they are keeping in the centralized location for the optimized query. Query, you all know that how they can, based on their information needs or based on their needs, they can get the data, right? And they can use it for the analysis action. So then cloud storage, nowadays it is very popular, online storage solution that offers scalability, means they can, because if it is a computer system, sometimes they may have a limited storage, but in the cloud storage, they can pay to get the storage capacity as they need it. So now you see an example is the Google Drive, like that. There are a lot of cloud storage facilities available. Most of the organization Nowadays, they don't want to have their physical storages. So they can store the data on the online cloud storage. The scalability means in the large scale also they can store the data, and remote access also there. What another advantage of using the cloud storage is the organization keep the data in the cloud storage, can access wherever they move, right? So that's why remote access also possible, and the collaboration, they can collaborate with some other organization for analysis purpose or something else. They can give the access to their storage to access the data, then they can access the data and they can analyze it. So then they are especially useful for handling a large volume of data and integrating with other cloud services. So then we will discuss how they can do that also. We will see that. So then if you want to explain about this data storage, simply you can understand data storage is like keeping your things in an organized way. Normally you also store the things in a systematic way, just like your uh, you wouldn't throw all your clothes in one pile. Just you just keep in a proper way, yeah, proper, right? Just dump data in a single place. You don't put it. Different storage solutions are like a different organization methods available. Each are appropriate for specific purpose. So then, example, we can say database means imagine a library. So books are organized by categories, fiction, non-fictions like that. They can keep the data. Similarly, database store structured data which follows a specific format they are using. Each piece of data has a in a proper field. They can keep it like a book title, author, and like the customer name based on their location, their income, or like that. They can keep the data. Example, simply online store uses a database to store customer information, name, address, purchase history. So then with each detail in a separate field, they can keep it. This allows for quick searches of specific customers or filtering purchase by date. They can access it. And like that, data warehouse also, think of a data warehouse as a again research center. So then big research center like that combines information from various sources, right? So it combines from the various sources as we discussed online, social media, research, customer feedback like that. With different sources they can use. And it takes the data from different databases as well, like sales, marketing, customer service. So the internal records also available from the different databases. So that's why integrate them for analysis. So then connecting this sales data, customer data, and other data, right? So then customer service data, everything in a different databases. In the data warehouse, as I said, in a central location or centralized data warehouse, they can keep all these data, and it is easy to them to integrate with each other. That means they can connect with each other. This centralized repository is optimized for complex queries and helps identify the trends and across different departments. They can do that. Example, a university might have a separate database for student admissions, course enrollments, library browsing. They can keep it, and data warehouse should combine this data to analyze enrollment trends based on the student's demographic or library usage pattern. They can analyze. And cloud storage also, like this is like having a secure store locker you can access from anywhere in the sense, if it is it in your computer, you want to use the computer to get the data. But if it is in the cloud storage without your right the specific computer, you can access from the different computer or different devices whenever wherever you go, right? So cloud storage services provide online space to store vast amounts of data. That means the scalable means the vast amount. You can add more storage as you need it. But in the computer, sometimes the hardware gives some limitations to store some amount of data. So then within that limitation only can only you can serve the data if it is in the your hardware. But in the cloud storage, as you prefer, you can add more storage. Allows for remote access and collaboration also. So then this is ideal for storing large files like videos or for teams working on shared documents. It is easy to use in the cloud. Right? That another example, people can edit. The different team members are working in the same file, can access it and they can amend it. And others also can see what the other team members are doing. So, example, a company might use the cloud storage to store marketing videos and share them with its global sales team. This eliminates the need for physical copies and allows everyone to access the latest versions. They can see it. And apart from these things, the file system also they are in the data storage. They use some file system for unstructured data, right? For unstructured data like emails or text documents. So file system organize data in folders and hierarchies, right? For unstructured data like emails or text documents, file systems organize data in folders and hierarchies, similar to how you organize files on your computer. And solid state drives also they are nowadays, solid state drives are very fast drives like SSDs. These are high speed storage devices. So that offer a much faster access time compared to the traditional hard disks like HDDs, right? So they are ideal for frequently access data that quicker retrieval they can make from that. So then these are the things in the data storage, and then we can move to next one is the data security, right? The data security, as we mentioned, they are going to um, store the data from the multiple sources and keeping it in the centralized location to access it. At the same time, they want to pay attention to the data security. So protecting data from unauthorized access. Why they are using the data security means protecting data from unauthorized access and breaches. Nowadays, you all heard about like people are hacking it, access unauthorized medical access, stealing the data. That's a big concern in the digital right data. So that's why data security involves like a access control. So normally they use restricting the data access to authorized person only through the use authentication, role-based access controls like that. Even within the organization also, some team members cannot access. If they want access to some limited data only, they can access. You all can understand this is available in the banking system. Normally in the banking system, the tellers or the people in the counter, only they can access some limited data, right, about a particular customer account number they can enter and they can review the account details and then they allow to do some transaction only. That also to some limited transaction only they can do that. So then this is normally access control. This is like access control normally they are doing with the password, PIN numbers, some for key, right? So these are the, the methods they are using to the access control of the people to make sure the authorized access. And another one is the encryption. Sometimes you heard about that. Encryption means encrypting data both at rest and in RANs to prevent the unauthorized access and ensure data integrity. The encryption in the sense when you are sending the data, they are changing the data into different ports, and it is traveling through the different right channels, and finally it's reaching the endpoint, and again they decrypt it and they can understand. So the encryption simply you see WhatsApp usage you all can understand it's like an encryption methods they are using to right. So others cannot access it. They cannot even hack it because they are using the technology to encrypt the data. We will see that this encryption. So the encrypting data both at rest and in transit to prevent unauthorized access. Why they are using this encryption is unauthorized access and ensure data integrity. Right? And another one, regular audits. They are using the data security, mean they are checking regular systematic examinations of the hardware, software, and other system. So that means conducting regular security audits to identify and address vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities in the sense, is there any chance to is there any chance to people to access or data? Sometimes people steal or unauthorized access. Is there any ways available like that? They can frequently, they can periodically, they are checking. And compliance, adhering to the data protection regulations such as GDPR, CCPA, and HIPPA to ensure legal compliance and protect our customer privacy. So then we will see what is that, right? Normally, this is normally not available in our countries. It is maybe available in the Western countries. Right, in Sri Lanka, like Personal Data Protection Act number 9 of 2022. This normally enacted in Sri Lanka, right, and gradually implemented in a different states. So it personal try to protect the personal data. So then it includes the rights of data subjects, right to access, rectify, erase, and object to the processing of personal data. Responsibility data controller. The law defines who is responsible for data and outlines the obligation for secure storage, processing, and breach notification. Data Protection Authority. PDPA establishes a dedicated authority to oversee data protection implementation and enforcement. So these are some examples in Sri Lankan case. And before that also, before this PDPA, Electronic Transaction Act number 19 of 2006 also there. Like that Banking Act number 30 of 1988 also protecting the data security for the banking sector. So like that there are a lot of laws available to protect the data, right? So then now you can understand the importance of the data security. Data security normally the data is like safeguarding your homes, like that. They are safeguarding the data, right? So normally we don't leave our doors wide open, and you would take a step to keep data protected. So similarly, data security involves measures to prevent unauthorized access, theft or damage to your data. So that's why data security now you all can understand and prevent unauthorized access. So that's why access control and encryption and regular audits are the some ways they like to protect the data. So another one is the data integration. So the data integration combines data from different sources to provide a unified view, right? That means in a unique way, it is essential for comprehensive analysis. So then it includes some key practices like ETL means extracting the data from various sources, right? So ETL process means extracting data from various sources, transforming it into compatible format, and loading it into data warehouse. Now you can understand from the different sources, they can get the data, gather the data, keep the data. Now they are extracting the data. Then they are converting the data into different forms. So that's why transforming it into a compatible format and loading it into a data warehouse, right? So then they are loading into the data warehouse. Another one API is using application programming interface, right, to connect different systems and enable seamless data flow. So using application programming interfaces to connect, because there is like a software. So to connect different system and enable seamless, smooth flow, data flow, they are using these softwares. And data cleansing, another one. Data cleansing means ensuring data quality by cleaning, deduplicating, and standardizing data before integration, right? So as we discussed earlier, then they do some cleaning process. So here ensuring data quality, then to be a quality data, they are cleaning. So that sometimes unnecessary data, not relevant data, outdated data, they can remove or delete it. That's why cleaning. And they try to find any duplicating, and that's why remove the duplication. That's a deduplicating and standardizing the data before integration. Standard in a format, then they try to make it. Another one is the real-time integration, right? Real-time integration means implementing real-time data integration for up-to-date insights, right? Up-to-date insights, particularly important for dynamic environments like social media and live customer interactions. So then that means in a real-time basis, they like to connect the data, implement the real-time data integration for up-to-date insights. So normally this is common. You can understand the ATMs and the bank transactions, then they are connecting the data with the servers or centralized data in a real time. That means one customer is using the ATM to withdraw the cash. At the same time, it is recorded in a real time. So in a dynamic environment, number of customers are visiting, every customers, every transaction, every time it is recorded in a real time, in a live interaction. So then these are the things we discussed, right? So then today, as it is the first session, so then we discuss about some data related aspects, because marketing information system all about the data and how they are transforming the data into record information. Then in the contemporary world, how they can use that. So that's why it started from the data collection, data storage, and so then data security and data integrations. Today we have discussed, and then we can wind up the session here. We will continue from the next session. Thank you.